Quincy's career spans such a
Crazy.
yeah, and I actually saw there's a documentary, a couple of pieces on it. Well, there's one documentary on called I think it's called Quincy on Netflix, right?
Oh, it is? I'm
Yeah,
gonna watch
yeah,
it.
yeah. I watched it before.
For real?
I'm gonna watch it
I
again.
might watch it tonight.
It is incredible, and it's
He's an incredible, just interesting individual. Where you go from who he worked with in Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson.
you said it right there.
Crazy.
You said it right
Ray
there.
Charles.
And see, you know that.
Remember
'cause
when
you're
he
a
was in
music
the Ray
person,
Charles
right?
movie? They was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's Quincy Jones."
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, he worked with Ray Charles.
See, you're a music person,
Yeah, I am.
so you know the
Yeah,
span
yeah, he's
of
pretty.
Quincy Jones's
He's
career,
incredible.
right? And most people don't know that part of him.
Yeah.
He began his career as a jazz trumpeter and was later in great demand as an arranger, writing for the big bands of Count Basie and others. Man, and he and Ray,
He's just touching greatness.
Frank Sinatra,
Count Basie, Michael Jackson, Stevie
well,
Wonder.
we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay with say that. And then him and Ray Charles was up in Seattle doing their thing,
Yep.
right? I mean, he's just wow. A composer of film music. It doesn't have a number of movies, but it must have been 8 or 9 movies that he
Didn't he do something with the Wizard of Oz, the Wiz?
The Wiz. Oh, he's on Down the Road. Absolutely. That was one of the movies I believe that he scored. But he may have made his most lasting mark by doing what some believe to be equally important in the ground level history of an art form, the work of connecting. All right. Let's do this. Beyond his hands-on, and I'm reading from prepared text, obviously, beyond his hands-on work with score paper, he organized, charmed, persuaded, and hired and validated. Starting in the late 1950s, he took social and professional mobility to a new level in Black popular art, eventually creating the conditions for a great deal of music to flow between styles, outlets, and markets. And all of that could be said even if he had not produced the best-selling album of all time, which is
Thriller.
It's just and I can't do it.
I don't know.
I ain't gonna try to do him. It's Thriller.
Oh,
I was gonna hit the note, but
no, you don't.
that's what
play.
soul does. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna try and hit that.
They said, did you see the story that he had about the "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough"?
No.
So
no.
Michael Jackson, he was like, "Mr. Jones, I don't like the beginning part." And so Quincy Jones was like, "Hold on, brother. What do you mean?" Like the thing that you hear, the strings. He wanted to take that out, and Quincy Jones was like, "No, first of all, it's my song. We're not doing that. Second of all, heck no." And he was right. He was right.
Quincy was right just about everything he touched.
Man,
right?
for real. Baby face. It's crazy.
Mr. Jones' music has been sampled and reused hundreds of times through all stages of hip hop, and the theme from Austin Powers films. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He has the third highest total of Grammy Awards, won by a single purpose. He was won by a single person.
28.
He was nominated 80 times and won, 28. He was given honorary degrees by Harvard, Princeton, Juilliard, the New England Conservatory of Music, the Berklee School of Music, and many other institutions. And talked about the early 1950s. We are the world. He put that whole thing together. We are the children.
He's pretty.
And one of my privileges, I met Quincy Jones.
Met Quincy Jones.
I met Quincy Jones. Back in the 90s.
78.
Stop, man. Back when there was 78s, right? Big old LP 30. Back in the 90s, he had this TV show, a Vibe TV show. I think it was called Vibe. That was
I think
Vibe.
it was. Yeah,
it was Vibe. And Sinbad was the host. And I met Sinbad. And Sinbad had actually had then we called Omega Boys Club, had a live and free Omega Boys Club on A Different World. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He had got our t-shirt. I met him. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guy. Love you, Sinbad, as you recover. And he said, I'm gonna wear the club's t-shirt on an episode of a different world. And he let me know today. So when I remember that, we all sat around, and then the show was like it was getting ready to go off, and here comes Sinbad walking out with our TV show, our t-shirt on. But when he was hosting Vibe, he called me and said, "I want you to come on the show to talk about, Alive and Free Omega, the boys club." So he had me and Miss Norris come on the show. And I walked out, man, and we did our little thing, sat there.
Was you at the Apollo? Did they boo you? Did the Sandman come out?
No, come on,
I'm
this is in
joking.
LA.
I'm
man.
joking
No.
with you.
Don't mess up my moment, bro.
I'm sorry.
And it was great. But after the show, Quincy calls down and says, I'd like to meet you. Yeah.
Wow.
I'd like to meet you. So I go up there, and Quincy Jones is in the studio. He said, love to work with you.
Pretty cool. He was a pretty
Thank
cool
you.
cat. Huh?
He's a very cool guy. Very,
Yeah.
very cool guy. And Quincy's one of those guys, you just think he's gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
You're like, Quincy Jones can't be gone, right? Because he was vibrant up to the very end. That's the other thing. He was very end. So thank you, Quincy Jones, for all of your musical talent. I got a couple of Quincy songs I fool with and play. Everything Must Change is on the album to do on one of his albums. Forever Loses Heaven is one of my favorite songs. So Quincy. Is it so long? Because I know we gonna want to say something about Quincy. Oh, what's up, brother? What's up, my man? You looking Quincy-esque with your little hat on? All right. You got something to say real quick before I move on to the next story?
Man, I ain't got nothing to say. I feel bad. That's all I got to say. I'm depressed. My anxiety's up. I'm about to get back on medication. No. What you want me to say?
No, we're talking about Quincy now.
I'm running for city council in 2 years. I'm done.
What about Quincy?
Oh yeah. Hey. Greatest, maybe the greatest music producer of all times. Rest in peace to the great Quincy Jones, who we lost this week.
Yeah.
If you don't know, man, if you're a music person, especially if you're a young person, all I can tell you is music didn't start in 1995. It's been going on for a long, long time. And this brother Quincy Jones has had his hand in almost all of it.
Yeah.
And
Just Blaze said his mom didn't know what he did. Just Blaze is a producer, hip hop producer. And then one day she was like, "Why do everybody know you?" And then she said, "Oh, you're what Quincy Jones does for your music for hip hop." And then she got it. He was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm Quincy. I'm not Quincy Jones, but that's what I do. I'm a producer." So it kind of like came together for us. It's pretty cool insight from Just Blaze.
Trivia question for all the Quincy Jones fans. Who did Quincy Jones' daughter date?
briefly.
Lenny Kravitz. I don't know.
Oh, that was Pac. She was dating Pac for a minute, but
Tupac. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Q3, I think, was his son name, right?
Yeah, and that came up, not just that came up around Pac's. I mean, that wasn't just like,
that was a big thing.
A TMZ story. That was it was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
So
there's a great documentary about Quincy Jones. Everybody should watch it. Doc, you saw it.
He said,
I told him.
On Netflix.
On Netflix.
Yeah. It's really good. His life, incredible life, and just so much music, Black music history, and just American music history.
Beautiful.
Thank you for all your contributions, Mr. Jones. And one of which is the great song "We Are the World." What a beautiful tune that is. He just did so. He did more in his man. That dude's incredible. That's all I can say. Quincy Jones, we'll miss you, brother.
Yeah, he didn't make songs like "Get Down" and "Get the Twerking," stuff like that.
Well, I don't,
Thank
they
you.
didn't do that back then.
They didn't do that back then.
Motown wasn't doing that. You know what I mean?
Thank you. That's enough. You just said it right there. That's good enough. You made music. Okay. All right. All right. Let's do this. Here's the first one of the early lady. You're not gonna like this. Early fallout from the election. Authorities work to find the source of racist text sent to Black people nationwide after the election.
I've seen that.
You seen that?
Yeah.
Soul sent this to me. Federal and state authorities are working to find the origins of a text racist messages sent to Black people referencing slavery and telling them they were selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation.
I want those people prosecuted for terror. That's what I want. If they say it's a joke, and no, that's terrorism.
Everybody say it's a joke. Everything's a joke. Everything's funny.
Yeah.
Everything funny. And I am moving a little ahead of myself. If you look at all of them rallies, it was laughing at everything, no matter what was said. Everything funny. All right. Students from at least 3 historically Black colleges and universities, many of which we know people that go to Hampton, in Virginia, Fisk University in Nashville, and Claflin University in Orangeburg have reported receiving the text messages. So expect to hear a lot of that, because, hate is unleashed, right? Hate is unleashed, right? It's part of what's going on, and we will get into this. One more story before we get into postmortem on the voting, or what you call that, reflections on the election. All right. History is being made in the Senate. The Senate is about to have 2 Black women serving at the same time. That's never happened before. For the first time in over 200 years, 2 Black women have been elected to Congress's upper chamber. Delaware Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester secured the seat vacated by Democratic Senator Tom Carper, all right, and Prince George's County Executive Angela also Brooks, I guess, triumphed over former Governor Larry Hogan in Maryland. That surprised me because he was a very popular governor. All right. The senators who refer to one another as sister senator, will become the 4th and 5th Black women to serve in the Senate while they're sworn in when they're sworn in on January 3rd. All right. The first Black woman was, anybody know first Black woman?
First Black woman senator?
Yeah. You'd have to, this got
Madam CJ?
Carol Moseley Braun. Carol Moseley Braun in 1992, followed by
Barbara Walters.
No.
Maxine Waters.
No, she's a rep. This is a senator.
Barbara Boxer.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala
was the second Black woman senator. All right.
And Doc, can you hear me?
Yeah. Mhm.
Speaking of Black women going to Washington, D.C., we got to mention our friend of the show here,
Did she win?
the Bay Area's own Latifah Simon.
All right. Oh,
She's,
man.
Will be representing the California's 12th congressional district, succeeding longtime Representative Barbara Lee. So congratulations to Latifah. Yeah, would be proud.
That's just, I don't know what to say.
What's her
man.
name?
Latifah Simon, who we have known for ever. Right?
You guys know her.
Oh, Malcolm, do we know her?
Mike, she'll probably come on the show, okay, if you want to talk to her.
She'll come on the show. No, she grew up listening to Street Soldier. Malcolm's best friend. Before. She was married to Malcolm's best friend. So no, I mean, that's like one of our little kids growing up, mine anyway, to become that's just something amazing, right? Amazing.
She come a long way, ain't she?
Yeah, she has. And that girl could, Lord, look, there's some people that when they give a speech, she's a preaching speaker. You know what I mean? And she like gets to the high note C quick. She don't need a lot of warm up. Latifah starts off on high C. Some people get to talking and then they hit it. She'd be like, and by the end of the first 2 lines, she'd be up there. Boom. In fact, her opener is like, Latifah, I hope you have a long and wonderful career. Congratulations. Wow. All right. Okay. Let's do this. Reflections on the elections. We don't have a lot of time. Anybody want to get in? Your thoughts. I'm gonna open up the lines, and if nobody has anything to say, that's fine. 877-955-1061. 877-955-1061. Your reflections on the national election, the local election, any propositions, any, whatever. It's not just on that. This is the last, because after this, I'm going back to regular Street Soldier stuff, right? But it was huge. You can see where most of us stand and what we wanted. And it did not turn out that way, but that's what it is. And so if you got anything you want to say, do you expect the result? Or are you surprised by any of the results? Is there a candidate that you wanted locally? Just and this really is your reflection on the in the election 2024-877-955-1061. All right, here we go. We are here for you. Hi, you're on Street Soldiers. Go right ahead.
Hey, good evening, good evening.
What's up, my
This is Rich from the Cisco.
What's up, my man?
All right.
What you got for us tonight? Any thoughts on any of this?
Oh, I have a lot. I could write novels.
Well, okay. Give us a couple of sentences.
All right. All right. On Mrs. Kamala's concession speech at her university out there on the East Coast.
At Howard.
It was a partial concession,
Mhm.
conceding, and partial not, because she said she did not concede to the fuel. You guys give me the words. You know, the fuel, the fire that kept the fight going on.
Right.
If do you remember? You guys remember that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good paraphrasing. I don't remember exact words, but yeah, she said something like that.
Right. Okay. So it's not over.
Well, she conceded to the election. She conceded to the numbers, right? She did. I mean, she said, you know, A1 is the American way. It's the American way. And that's what she said. So, all right. Next call. You here? All right. You are on. You are on. Your thoughts on the election nationally, locally? Go ahead.
How everybody doing? I'm Mac. My thoughts on it, man, it all failed. It went the wrong way. I feel we need another year. How when everybody participated, the NBA players, like that was big that year. You know,
Mhm.
like it brought
2020.
a lot of people out. Yeah, it brought everybody out to vote.
Yeah.
You know, like all my partners who didn't vote, like I'm like y'all complaining, but y'all didn't vote. Like, you know, that little percentage could have been, you know, you
Did they
ones who
say
didn't vote,
why?
that's complaining.
My man, did they say why they didn't vote? I mean, did they give you what
They
did they say?
had no logical reason, man.
Okay.
They had no logical reason why they didn't vote. Like
Okay.
I look at it just being lazy.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you know, that's just my thoughts
Man,
on it,
that's
man.
right.
Like I remember last week we had a guy on there, man, like he had something mixed up, and I was like, man, I was trying to get through the line. I was like, we got to educate this dude, you know, from San Jose.
Yeah.
I was like, he had a lot of stuff backwards.
Well, he probably gonna call in tonight.
Yeah,
well,
like he had it all mixed up, and I'm like, boy, like man, like this stuff is gonna hurt our people, man.
yeah. Yeah.
Like that 2025, whatever, all that stuff,
Yeah,
man, it's gonna
yeah.
hurt us.
You got to play. They standing there with the playbook in their hand.
Yeah, man. I'm like, he's trying to get police immunity, like that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it, man. Like,
Thank you.
Well, brother, we're here for you,
you
man.
know,
All the way
I
through.
think the world not ready to see a woman in that placement is another thing. Like, I feel like, you know, there's still some cheating going on, man. That's why Donald Trump need that head time. You know, like that, like at that rally.
All right,
That's
my
what
man.
I
We
hit
here.
that. I don't want to go too deep.
You know, let me tell you,
Alright.
man. Let me tell you.
Yeah, man.
Look here. I'm gonna tell you. When I told the kids, you know, we here no matter what. We are. We, you know, I've been through a lot of whole presidential campaigns, and we're gonna be here no matter what for you. All right. Thank you, man. 877-955-1061. Your thoughts on the election? 877-955-1061. You got thoughts? Please give them to us a post-mortem. So you sent me something about turnout, right? Do you have that still in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me, but it was one thing I was gonna say. And the caller alluded to it. On the Democratic side, they just didn't get the numbers. People didn't turn out like the last election.
Yeah, I'm looking for
And
yeah.
Trump's went up a little bit, but he didn't even get, I don't think he got as many votes as he did last time. So what the caller was saying is right on. Yeah, more folks voted, more folks of color, it looks like, voted for Trump. A couple, maybe 2 out of 10 black men, blah, 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 and maybe more Latino, Hispanic men. But the Democrats just didn't get the numbers. And, you can talk all day about why.
Okay, I'll come back to that. We got a call 877-955-1061. Your thoughts on the election, nationwide, local, what you got? Hello, you're on Street Soldiers. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah. How's it going, Street Soldiers?
How you doing,
I
my
just
brother?
for the election. Hello?
Yeah,
Yes.
we got you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just for the election. I mean, it didn't went the way I wanted to go, but nonetheless, I mean, I guess the American people thought what they thought, but at the same time, I wish a lot of immigrants, if they were able to vote, it would have been a little different way. But because it didn't, because I'm an immigrant,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like I kind of feel like, oh man, like, especially feeling immigrants, even though they did get a penalty for some type of reason. Okay, you did, but now I kind of feel like bad for their families, for our families that are gonna suffer because of how Donald Trump feels so powerful and so strongly about deporting us. So that's pretty much just my feeling right there. I just wanted to that, Street Soldiers, and I really appreciate you guys. I listen to you guys every Sunday night. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That was an interesting thing. When the calls come on, we'll take them.
We got
Got
another
another
call.
one. Okay, because I'm gonna mention about the Latino vote, something that
You
is
can talk,
interesting.
do it now.
Well, the interesting Latino vote, a lot of Latinos voted for Trump.
Yeah.
But he's about to deport a whole lot of,
Hey, we rocking with Trump too.
Mexican looking people, right? I mean, that's how that's it's gonna be. So and there was a young lady who's written a book really about the Latinos and where they are trying to figure out, what that was. Because in the end, they might be deporting the ones that voted for him. That's a possibility. So, and that's gonna
And Doc, let me just add,
that's gonna be scary for them.
and it's also African immigrants, Asian, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's not
all
just-
kind of immigrants. That's
Right.
right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Got somebody on the
All
line.
right. You are on. Post
Am I
election
on
comments.
or someone else on?
Go right ahead. You are on. Your thoughts.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I was really hurt, and actually it hurt me so bad I laid in that bed and cried. I had a doctor's appointment that day. I told the doctor, I can't even tell you what's wrong with me because I hurt from head to toe
Yeah.
from my sister.
Yeah.
And she began to cry, and she said, I feel the same way. And I'm really disappointed in my sisters. Okay, I'm not just talking about the sisters' skin of color. I'm talking about all women because I'm going to tell you the truth. I took this very personal. I've been that rape victim. I've been that molested one from your father. Praise the Lord, I didn't get pregnant. But I've been there where I've had to deal with that. I've been there where I've had to face abortions and I've had to face miscarriages. I've had family that we've had on the line, not sure how they're going to make it. And now these sisters didn't even step up for each other. I'm talking about my sisters from the South. Y'all didn't step up for each other. You can't go to the doctor. Now you're trying to figure out how you're going to get here when we had a chance to turn that around. I'm going to come at you this way. You put a rapist in office. Are you for real? I get upset with you. You put a rapist and a racist. This man has gotten away with everything. So let's let the brothers out of jail who's up in there. If we're going to have a president who's a felon, then let's let these brothers out of jail because they got no business being there if this one can stand there orange as you want to be and do what he wants to do. My other thought is
No, your point. Let me just say this about the women. A woman would have to explain this to me. Your rights, this is women's rights, right? It was on the line. And Roe v. Wade had been there since I don't know when. It has been overturned. Does that mean that this wasn't a high? I thought it was going to be a high priority for women, of course, because it affects them. So somebody would have to explain to me why it wasn't high on the list for them. I don't get it.
I don't know. It hurts my heart because I wasn't just voting for me. I was voting for my sisters.
Yeah.
I was voting for my grandchildren. I was voting for my family. It wasn't just me. I'm not having children no more. But who's going to come up behind me? What about this little girl, 12 years old, dying because she had to get from one state to another? The 18-year-old who had to take the morning after pill died because everything didn't come out. Couldn't nobody help her. She died with sepsis and left a child behind. It wasn't just about abortion. What about the women who were dying because their babies wasn't going to make it, and the doctor can't help them. Hello, I want to say I'm very proud of 95% of my Black sisters who stood beside me, and 75% of my brothers who stood behind their women. I have never been more proud for a brother to stand behind me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I am upset with
Thank
my
you.
Latino brothers. Hello,
We'll be
you
here.
got a
with you.
wife, you got children. What were you thinking? Just because she's a woman does not mean she couldn't have ran it. Yeah, she's gonna get up out of there in 4 years. I don't agree with everything she stands for, but we can get rid of her. We don't know if we're gonna get rid of Mr. Orange in 4 years.
That is correct.
Because he already said he wanted to come in as a dictatorship. This is a man that you got to take him for his word. When somebody shows you who they are, believe him the first time. We had him the first time. He was nothing but hate. Somebody tell me one thing he said wasn't hate throughout his whole, all those going to country, state to state, talking hate and thinking it was funny.
Yep.
It wasn't funny. It wasn't cute. It was hurtful.
Yep.
And I don't understand why
Threatening.
50 states could not get it together.
Listen, we're gonna be with you the whole 4 years. Okay.
Well, then you
We're
have
gonna-
these other people
Oh.
who are sharing, he won the vote, supposedly.
He won the
Um,
vote.
He did win.
He won the
We'll
vote.
see.
He won.
But then you have people like Nick Fuentes who says things like, your body, my choice. And then they just laugh in women's faces.
I
And-
seen that.
And so because of that, that's what I think women are afraid of, is that type of thinking. It wasn't even about, the fetus, and worrying about that. It's more about the control over women, and people got
So
manipulated.
do they vote for control? I just don't get it. I mean, like I said, I got 5 sisters. I got Lady E. I got you. I got 2 daughters.
I don't
I
know.
got a mama.
don't know
the
why
mother of
they-
my children. All right, you're on. Your thoughts on national and let's throw the local elections in. Go right ahead. Hello, you there? You there? You gone? All right. 877-955-1061. 877-955-1061. Caller, you're on Street Soldiers. Your thoughts on the election?
Yeah, this is B. I'm over in Arizona right now, but I'm originally from California.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this election was just about people preserving their whiteness. I mean, let's be real with it. A lot of reasons, the reason why these women didn't vote for Kamala, because they were preserving their whiteness. They had a couple of people that they even asked, "What do you have in common with Trump?" And the one lady said, "Oh, I just feel that he's like me." And that lady, she wasn't rich. She had kids. Trump is rich. Trump got kids, but he don't take care of them. She was just a poor white lady. The only thing they had in common was white. And a lot of people don't want to say it, but that's what it was really about.
Brother, let me tell you something, man. First of all, the honored scholar who wrote the book cast,
Bell Wilson.
Isabel Wilkerson.
Wilkerson basically said the same thing. But look, I saw this TikTok video, man. I want you to hear this. And this Chinese brother this Asian brother was having dinner with this white man. And he said, I voted that.
I saw that.
For the preservation of the white race. That's why I
That's
voted.
what it was about.
Said. He said,
Yeah, that's what it was about.
He said that's why I did it. And
Yep.
because we built this country, so the Chinese said, well, what about not?
Oh yeah, I seen that guy. Yeah,
could be
that's
rational.
old. That's old.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was current or 4 years
Nah,
ago.
that's about 5 years old.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was when
Yeah.
that was Trump's
You
first
got to
time.
remember,
That
all
was the
these
first time,
Republican
okay.
think tanks have been putting this stuff
But
together.
it's relevant now.
because
Of course,
they
that's why
feel
it's
Just
that
as relevant now.
they feel that they are being replaced. They really feel that. They know that they're going to be the minority in the next 5 years. So they're doing something that they feel that's prolonging because they know what Trump stands for.
That now 5 years old or whatever, it doesn't sound irrelevant at this point. But the fact that he just flat out said that, it was like,
No, he said that. Yeah.
whoa, dude. Okay, man. Look, man.
And yeah, it is what it is. So all I can say, guys, is, put your seatbelts on and, everybody got to look out for each other now.
Yeah. I've been telling people save your money because you never know when you might get out of here, right?
And one
take
more
care of
thing about
yourself.
the Hispanics.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why the Hispanics chose Trump, it was like 60%, because even though they say, a lot of people say, you know, the black and brown, 60% of Hispanics, they don't identify with black or brown, they identify with white. And that's what they did. And it's so dumb because they don't even realize it's like they stuck a gun to their head. Just like white women, they don't even understand what they did, man. And we're gonna be really seeing this in the next couple of years. So
I don't like
you know,
pitting us against the Latinos. That ain't
Well,
cool.
I don't want to. It's
That's
you
the
don't want
old
to blame
school way.
anybody either.
No, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a slippery slope.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Doc,
Thank you.
you're not gonna agree with this, Doc, but well, I don't know, but I do have to say, and I've always been not jealous because I can't stand Trump. I think he's a terrible man. It has nothing to do with the politics. I just think he's a garbage human being. But at least his folks believe he's gonna go hard for them. And that's the one thing I don't feel the Democrats are gonna go hard for me.
But see, this ain't a Democrat or Republican thing for me. This is an individual.
I know, but people, but that's what people vote on.
If they vote on him, and you think he's going hard for them, fine. Now, what hard means, he believes that they're gonna make America great again. And I don't know when America was great.
You're right. I'm not saying
what are
it's
they
true.
talking
I'm
about?
not saying it makes sense. I'm saying that they believe that. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they believe it. Yes. Yes.
And to me, that's always my
Right.
criticism of the Democrats, because I don't believe them.
I got
They
you.
don't make
All
me
right.
believe it.
All right, let's take this call. You're on Street Soldiers. You're
Sorry,
the
Lady E.
election. Go right ahead.
I was concerned also about you wanting to have my medical records. Now I've got to worry about getting these what's the man? I guess the man with the worm, the brain in his the worm in his brain. JFK.
Kennedy.
Who wants to,
Yeah.
yes, he wants to get into your wives, your daughter's medical records.
Yeah.
They want to follow your child's sexual reproduction.
Yeah.
Trump was talking about punishment for women who get pregnant and have abortions.
Yeah.
Excuse me, somebody, please. I mean,
Yeah.
for these last 4 years, I just want to say, y'all start to pray. Because like you said, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
We're going to have to roll and we're going to have to hold each other up. The
Yeah,
other thing is someone
absolutely.
told me, oh, well, I just knew if I voted for her, we would go into World War III. Well, guess what? It's already coming. Did you read your Bible? It's coming. You're not going to just push it to the side and think because you put Trump up there that it ain't going to happen. That man's the one going to push the button. Or why? Because he's got Elon with him. They already setting up their little spot in Mars so that they can go somewhere else.
You know, I never
Got their little-
understood about that argument
Yeah.
about her not being able to stand up on the international stage, and he could. He couldn't stand up to her. He couldn't handle her. So what makes him more qualified to do it than others? I don't get it, but then that's just me. 877-955-1061. Next call. We got one. All right. Thank you. Go right ahead. You are on the air. Hello? Hello? It's you. You on?
New caller, hello.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
Turn down your radio. When you get on the radio, please turn down your radio.
And so we can come straight to you. All right.
Hello?
All right. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I am yes, hello?
You are on.
Hello?
You're on.
You're on.
Okay, hi. Hi, I'm just saying hi.
Just go. Just
No,
talk.
she's listening to the
I
radio
want to talk
too.
about hello?
You listen to the radio.
My bad,
Yeah.
my bad. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
For the
Good
seventh time.
That I think that this whole political
Did all that.
Yes,
shit, man. We can't even.
okay. This
All right, call
Okay,
back.
this-
Get a better connection, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Should
We
call
try.
back.
We try. Should call back. All right. 877-955-1061. We got time for a few more
We
calls.
do. We got
Before
about
you
10
get
more
in-
minutes.
10 minutes, get in your thoughts, reflections on the election. I got to tell you, while we're waiting on this call, I got you.
She
We got
calling back
All
right
right, you
now.
call back. All right, go right ahead.
Hello?
We're going to do it good this time, right? You there? Speak. Uno, dos. Well, I can go backwards. 5.
Hello.
Oh, all right. Go right ahead, sir. Thank you for calling.
Hey, Straight Searchers. My thoughts on the election is I really wish Joe Biden hadn't dropped out,
Yeah.
only because the fact that majority of men in this country has a misogynist problem, and this country is not ready for a woman to lead a country, and a lot of people do not believe a woman can lead a country, country.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that's what
Disconnect.
happened.
Yeah.
The disconnect
Right.
with men and women,
Yeah.
because men have this big ego with letting women control. So I think that's what really happened. And this not only this country has a racial problem, it has a misogyny problem, it has a sexist problem, it has a lot of things that's wrong with this country. And I think a lot of women, if you think about it, with Hillary, a lot of women did not vote for Hillary in 2016. So a lot of women were for Trump as well.
Yeah.
And when
No,
Obama won, I believe that Obama won because he was a man, and a lot of people feel men are leaders and men can do whatever. Joe Biden won because he was a man.
And you know the
he just
analogy.
resonated with.
Let me just say this, man. The analogy I always use that is a lot of people don't feel comfortable with a woman pastor. You know,
Exactly.
you know, I'm a Catholic. All the priests are men. So like you think the new pastor is going to be, well, a woman could be a pastor. Now, a woman, why can't she speak the word or preach the word like anybody else? But psychologically, a lot of people just don't feel comfortable because they've told me I want a pastor to be a man. So I translate that. To me, I feel that a lot in a leadership position. Remember they took that black people couldn't be quarterbacks back in the day, right? You know, they could play every position but be a leadership position. So I think that, and remember, women didn't get to vote for subconsciously. Women didn't get to vote for 150. I can't go over that. 1789.
It was in the Constitution. It was in the Constitution.
It was a set. Women could not vote for 140 years. So,
Right.
you know, yeah. I think that because it's been two women now, right? Two women now, and who had a chance.
It's been two women.
Yeah.
And that was a Caucasian white woman.
Yeah.
And you tell me that this lady, she didn't get the votes, and you know, more women voted for for Trump than Hillary Clinton. Come on now. And then Kamala Harris ran, and this is a black woman. Like, please.
Thank you, man.
These people not ready.
We're here for you the whole time. Next 4 years, Street Soldiers is gonna be right here. 877-955-1061.
Hello?
Yes, you are on.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to be on. I think
ma'am.
that it was really unfair, and there will never be equality when it comes to a man and a woman in this country. Number one, we were always used. Women were always used as a tool. And that's the way the mindset, and mentally and physically, that's what it is. And until we can get away from that, which we won't in this country because it's sexist. Everything on TV, everything that you see, it's about attraction versus promotion. And what you see is what you want, bottom line. And so she didn't have the eyesight, and she was not taught how to be on the stage on that kind of platform. Well, he is. He's a clown. She's not.
I thought she was great on the stage to me. I thought she was wonderful. She was good enough.
No,
to be-
what I'm saying is she's more like a Margaret Thatcher. She's a behind the closet kind of promotion to get things done. You know, we haven't had a strong woman since the Queen to be on a platform like that. So, you know, we're not geared to show that kind of performance. We're taught how to what? Stand by the side of a man, not be in front of a man.
But I thought she was great.
No, she did it.
No, I'm not saying she wasn't, but how many people accepted that she was great?
That's
How many people accepted
no,
that?
no,
Yeah, nobody wants to see that
Well, let
because
me ask
they
you
don't want to
something.
show weakness.
So let
It's
me
about
show you
strength.
something.
They don't want to show the weakness.
Hold on, let me just ask you. The debate was when they went head to head. He couldn't deal with her. What, didn't that show?
No, because he couldn't deal with our kind of his first life either. We can't deal with women in power. That's why they use women as slaves.
Okay.
If you understand that tunnel that they had, Hugh Hefner's tunnel, and pay attention to what was really going on. Who was his best friend when he first ran? Be Combs.
I go, oh Lord. Ooh, you threw something
So
out there.
let's pay attention to what it's about. It's about fit and sexism. So let's really look at the bottom line. Women are used as tools in this country, and a lot of countries. That's what women are supposed to be. They're supposed to be behind a man, not standing in front of a man.
Yeah. Thank you. I call the negative view of women. Absolutely. All right. That's the part. What, Justin, I was going to say something quick.
Go ahead.
3 minutes.
Say
So
something.
let me just do this real quick. So I want y'all to know. Let's do this. So I never post. And listen to this. I never post. But I did this one time, right? LinkedIn, only on LinkedIn. I don't do.
I was about to say, you got a Snapchat now?
No. I got LinkedIn. So somebody posted on my LinkedIn, and it was, a couple of brothers saying, and the post I said was, how can you just justify, reelecting somebody with bad behavior? It's like rewarding bad behavior, right? Unbelievable. I mean, you can spin it any way you want. So I posted it on, I guess, the other side. And that's all I said. Man, it gave me real insight. Young people do not get on and go back and forth on social media. I got called everything but the devil, right? I mean, everything. It's a good thing you know who you are. Man, they called me a Marxist, Leninist. I said, look, an elite. You a doctor, but it don't mean nothing. You do. I mean, the name calling wasn't. Man, I'm like, I said,
So,
I didn't.
so what that says,
I ain't saying nothing about. Oh, she's alone. I'm not saying anything about. I didn't say party. I just said rewarding bad behavior. Now, what's interesting, Dr. Phil, who was his buddy, if you ever watch his show, he always says, "Don't reward bad behavior." That's his favorite, one of his favorite lines when he's talking about children. So to me, they rewarded bad behavior.
Right.
Like the first bad behavior was the election, right? And I got called everything but a child of God. And then their favorite phrase, if you don't like it, leave the country.
Oh, they love that one, huh?
That's their favorite phrase.
Coming.
Right.
It's coming. All right. We're going to the
Last caller.
We got to do the thing. We got to go. Okay. I got to do the thing. All right. We're going to the second hour. Going to the second hour. Love all your calls. We're going to second hour on YouTube. Tell them the YouTube channel.
All right,
and
so we're not done. We got a little bit more conversation for you tonight, so you can head on over to YouTube Live at Stay Alive and Free. And if you want to listen to our past podcasts and learn a little bit more, you can head on over to stayaliveandfree.org.
Love y'all.
Lady E, your faces are saying more than your words tonight. This is an all-time classic Lady E facial expression show.
Baby, listen. Woo.
Are you here? Testing, testing. Are you here? Can't hear. Hello, hello.
Hey, Mike, I can hear you.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. That's what I say. We're live.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Hour number 2, alive and free. Street Soldiers Radio. What a first hour. Love the calls. God, do I appreciate our listeners and our callers. I really
Can they
do.
hear?
Yeah, wonderful. I really do. I really do. Thank you. Thank you so much for your reflections on election 2024. Let me just go to let me just, Lady E and Malcolm, let me talk to you. Unmute Malcolm, and I want to just again, I just, as we wrap up, before I go out to talk about my trip to South Bend and anything you want to say about the election. I think I remember, texting each of you that morning and saying, Lord, I couldn't get out of bed. I mean, literally, I just lay in bed for so long. But I was making a point right before the end of the first hour of wanting to hear from some Trump people as to, what the, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I posted. And Lady and Malcolm, and I've been posting this. It was a horrible night to me. I felt like I was back in 1860. I work with kids, and Trump is the opposite of everything I teach them to be. Everything. And America rewarded his bad behavior by making him president again. Unbelievable. Spin it any way you want. All right. Now, these are some of the reactions I got. Dr. Joseph E. Marshall Jr. Probably you should teach the kids real history and teach them about 2 genders teach them about work, teach them about respect is earned, not entitled by gender or race. I don't know what he thinks I teach, but that's what and not all the leftist ideology will provide affordable food, affordable education, workplaces, and so on. Probably you should teach this to yourself first, sir. No, first, you don't even know what I teach, right? So you don't know what I teach, but he's assuming what I teach. Okay. So then I said, I repeat, how has this changed what I originally said? Because I just want to know how I can reward what bad behavior, right? Then somebody went into look at what the Biden syndicate family has done, classified document in his garage, monies from Ford.
So basically, they couldn't answer your question.
Well, so I'm gonna get to that, right? And the media hit it. You should accept the fact that he won the election, and you should accept the fact that he won the election and watch America prosper.
They don't do fast.
Because he did. No, my point is,
Yeah.
he prospered. So in other words, come over to our side. And I said, okay, I acknowledge and accept the fact that he won. Wow, that's a behavior difference right there. I'm acknowledging it, right? All right. Anyway, I made my point. End of discussion. Back to teaching the kids not to behave like that. They don't get rewarded for that behavior, right? And then, Lord, I got more. I started to stop. I think I can clarify this for you. We should absolutely teach now. Here's the whole to moral standard. What made Americans voted for this time wasn't a person. This really confused me. It's not too difficult to avoid a president. We can watch the news less. What's impossible? And she said, it's not about Trump. That's what the media doesn't get. It's about changes that we believe our country should need, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's not about Trump for us. He's just a name on the ballot. We don't hold him up as a moral example or even somebody we like. We teach our kids values. I mean, all right. Anyway. So I said, okay, I haven't mentioned media or left or right or even party. I'm just confused. You say you teach your kids values and good behavior. There's a saying, good advice, a bad example cause. And the young people I work with are confused as hell. But hey, that's America, right? Been that way since 1776. Boy, I should have never got that because I looked. One lady said, my kids understand the world is full of evil. No one is perfect and that politicians aren't perfect and musicians aren't perfect. It's just a job. Playing basketball is an NBA. Some people get the just job, aren't the best people. It's that simple. Boy, you talk about rationalizing. Then this educator seems to be one of the people in our decrypted school systems that fail to teach critical thinking. I'm thinking, Mrs. Stellers, all she do is keep critical thinking, right? Look, it got worse than that. Finally, somebody said, okay. If you don't like it, right, why don't you go to China? You're a Marxist, socialist, elitist. I'm saying, what in there is Marxist, socialist, and elitist? And like, look, I'm like, these people name call, and they never just answered my question. If they had just said, okay, we overlooked it. We don't care what he did. It would have been fine, right? But they never addressed my question,
and they came at you.
Of course they came at me.
And all you did was ask a question. All
I did was ask. I didn't criticize. I didn't bust nobody. Now, Lady E, I'm telling you, seriously, since I really don't do social media, I'm thinking of a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old who throws something out there and it gets blasted. Blasted. And, I see why this stuff, these kids, if you get enough of that blasting, you feel so bad about yourself and name calling that I know there's a relationship between social media and suicide, but man, wow, ain't that something? That's just something. That was my one experiment.
Welcome to the social media world.
That's why I don't fool with that stuff. And I tell these kids, there's not going to be nobody even said, well, Dr. Marks, a good question. They just like, it was insane. And
the comment section is America's bathroom wall. It's there's no discussion going on. It's just left, right, left.
But if that's the way you're going, there's no communication, right? It's crazy. And the world is run by social media and Instagram and Snapchat and what's that, TikTok. It is nuts. You got a question, lady? You want to say anything about that? My social
Question?
experiment?
Oh, no.
A comment?
Now that's a whole nother story.
I will never forget that. I will never forget that. All right.
Doc, I got a comment.
Yes, sir.
Not about the presidential election. Is Mike still there, by the way?
No, he stepped out.
Okay. Just on the state and local, all the results haven't come in, so I don't think every race is official yet.
Yeah.
But from what's interesting to me is on some things, even in California, folks, it looks like went moderate or right, slightly.
Mhm.
And to me, that was interesting. And I don't mean on the presidential stuff.
Right.
38, for example, which, we've been hearing about the crime in the Bay Area all year. People who just kind of had it. And, that overwhelmingly passed like, look, we need to lock people up, or we need people to held accountable. And
I'm not surprised at that.
yeah, I know. I knew that was going to
surprise at all. Yeah.
Some of the folks who got elected maybe are moderates. 2 DAs were were voted out. Oakland's mayor was recalled, right?
Pamela Price was.
I don't know about the Oakland election. I was hoping to hear some more about from people.
Oakland mayor, I thought, was recalled. London Breed in San Francisco, she lost, right?
Lost, yes.
So that's just, I don't know. That's interesting to me, even in California, which, whatever has all these labels of being one thing. There were some things that folks were like, no, that's a little too far. We want to bring it, we want to rein it in just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that should be overlooked, but that's just an observation I saw.
Yeah. Okay, deep breath. Let's switch reels and go to some Street Soldier, Alive and Free stuff. Took a trip to South Bend, Indiana. Lady E, we got a great contingent there. Saw our Street Soldier there, Maurice Scott. By the way, Soul, whose daughter plays professional basketball, Skylar Diggins, a great Notre Dame athlete who is now playing for I believe the Seattle Storm. I know she plays for. And Maurice has been to the training several times. He's got I've been back there done training. He's got a cadre of folks, and one of the folks that is part of his inner circle there, his Alive and Free inner circle there, is the program called Take Heart. Michael and Ellen Williams Take Heart, and they were at the last training and said, Doc, we're getting ready to go full force with the Alive and Free prescription. Come on out here, spend a couple of days with the adults we work with and the young people we work with. And it was great. It was great. Thursday night, they put about 25 young people in the room, which was astounding to me. I mean, you're going to come on a Thursday night to listen to my lecture, right? And 2 hours later, they were still there. I had all these questions. Like, I said, y'all can go. And they didn't leave. I took a couple books, gave this one young man a book. And he was like, God, why you sign my book? I'm gonna read it. And then Saturday, a lot of adults who work with the Take Heart also spent some time listening to me about the Alive and Free and the Alive and Free prescription. It was great. Friday, and that's what I'm gonna show you now. They do a Live and Free radio program back there, right? Live and Free radio program. It's great. And they asked me to come on and talk about it. And so we're gonna listen to a little of that, Lady E. Yeah, I know you get enough of me. But some more.
Okay.
Doc in South Bend, talking Alive and Free. Okay, here we go.
Alive and free. Alive and free. Lucky me. Lucky me. Alive and free. Alive and free. Alive and free. Lucky me. Lucky me.
Me and my mama, we tell y'all why people need to stop killing each other around because this is just making me feel bad because I don't want nothing to happen. I'm scared to die. And I don't want nothing to happen to all my family. And this real, and I'm really serious because I'm really scared to die. And I'm really scared for my family to die. And I'm scared because, see, my mama cousin is a little boy by a drive-by, right? And he got killed in outside of school. And this just made my mama feel really bad about him. I'm a kid. And I'm supposed to be knowing all this stuff. I'm supposed to be knowing about all these guns. I know about all bad stuff. Something to know about. I'm supposed to be learning about school. At least I know about school stuff. I know my numbers, but people need to stop killing each other.
I wanna be free.
I wanna be free. South Bend, welcome to the Alive and Free show with one of your hosts, Coach Mo. I'm excited today, Wise One. We got a very special guest in the building, man, and I'm just excited. It's this is the reason that Alive and Free is in South Bend.
Say that thing,
right?
Yeah.
And so you know, I will wait a little bit before I introduce him, but I just I'm super geeked.
Yeah, we on that today.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm ecstatic. It make me remember, man. We when you've been blessed with a thing, you have to be what's called a wise steward. And so I'm ever on a journey to try and be that.
Yeah.
You know, you have different levels of success, but the thing is, we stay at it.
Yeah, come on,
We
man.
stay at it. So I'm looking forward to eating good today.
Yeah, man. Brother Minister, what's good, man?
Well, first and foremost, trying to stay in my gratitude loop, appreciating this day again, appreciating the sun. When it's mid-November, you know what I mean? You never know what you're going to get in Michiana.
Yeah.
It could be a snowstorm or it could be hot as summer. So I'm appreciating that. And I'm aware one of the last shows we taped, we talked about honor, and I think it's a good transition.
Come on.
Because I think we're about to put some honor on our guest today.
Yeah,
so,
man. Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah, no doubt, man. One of our special guests, he's not going to speak, but he's in the studio, man, my son, man. I'm always,
MJ.
you know, yeah, he done changed his name on me, but it's cool. It's always feel good, man, when your son is here, man, to be able to soak up some of this, man, and you know, be able to pass it. You feel me?
It feel official too, though, because when Junior come around, man, he come ready to work. He got it. Like I feel like, okay, we doing something.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's good, man. Well, without further ado, you know, one of the things that y'all hear me say a lot, that we're not all related, but we all family. And this brother is definitely my family, man. And my man, Dr. Marshall, Joe Marshall. Give it up.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Doc,
Lord.
what's going on, man?
Man, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. My first thought, it's great to be in a company of brothers I ain't got to worry about.
Yeah, come on, speak
I
that.
mean that,
Yeah.
you know, you never know who you with and what they gonna do, or what they thinking.
Yeah.
And to just feel, you know, safe and to be in that wonderful space with brothers of like minds, it's beautiful, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So give a little background, Dr. Joe Marshall. I had a pleasure of being introduced to from my father through a book called Street Soldier. And it was during a time in my life where I was trying to figure some things out. And my pops, man, y'all all know how I feel about pops, man. Pops would sometimes speak to you without words. He would just, you know, slide things your way. And before he gave me the book Street Soldier, he gave me this book called Monster. by Cody Scott. I was like, man, I know this dude don't think I'm like that, you know. I ain't that bad, you know. I'm just trying to figure some life stuff out, you know. And so he followed up with this book called Street Soldier, man. And I tell you what, man, that shifted my whole life. It was so powerful for me that I told Pops, I said, man, I want to go meet this man that wrote this book because it just touched me so much. I wanted to not only meet him and thank him, man, but I wanted to be able to be in his presence, man, and know what he knew. I still remember the first lines that I read when he talked about when he went to speak, and he said, if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't be doing what you do. Yeah. And so that's how I met Dr. Marshall, man, who is the founder of the Omega Boys and Girls Club. He was an educator. During that time, he decided that he got tired of going to funerals and going to visit young kids in juvie hall, and so he wanted to do something about it. And so I believe you was an assistant principal during that time.
I was an assistant principal. At that time, I was actually teaching when I started the club, and then became an assistant principal right after that.
Okay, yeah. And so
I did the teaching by day and the club by night.
Yeah. and then you wrote the book, man. And you know, it's so interesting, man. Like how many miles away. You know, because that was out in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and that book made its way here to our city. And my father said the book was speaking to him. And he said, man, son, at that time, I had a little change. I didn't have a lot of money in my pocket, but something told me to get that book for you. And he did that, man. And so, so now today, Doc has been back to our city several times to offer some trainings and his you know, the prescription, as we call it. I'm dealing with the issue of violence.
Which to me just says it's a marathon, you know, relay race.
Yeah.
In the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. And, you know, you always got to be mindful. What's beautiful about this is, you know how relay races work.
Yeah.
The worst thing you could do is get ready to pass the baton. Ain't nobody there.
Oh, man. Come on.
Or the baton get dropped. So that's why this is beautiful. Man. This is just, I know I'm just a beneficiary of somebody else, you know, giving me some knowledge and passing the baton on to me. And at an early age, I was ready to grab it. And I've been running hard ever since.
Yeah, man.
And everything is just the result of, my grandmother told me when I was 6 years old, and this is actually, the book is dedicated to her, the more you know, the more you owe. Which means as you grow and progress in life, you must help others to do likewise.
Yeah.
And of course, at 6, I didn't know what that meant.
Okay.
She says, baby, you know, grandmother, just keep on living. You'll learn.
You'll figure it out.
And, you know, it's interesting you mentioned the book because I wanted to write a book because a book changed my life. And I was never a kid that was really doing crazy stuff because I had a father like yours. My father would like, I'll bring you into this world. I think you're out, right?
Yeah.
But all the stuff was around us, you know, and the stuff around influences you. And the book that got me when I got to college was, to this day, is still my #1 book, and it's the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And that book was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I grew up in Los Angeles, you know, South Central, gangs everywhere, and it's so easy to get caught. But I always knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
You know, I remember getting jumped when I was 11 years old, and, you know, it's either get revenge but it just never made no sense to me, all the stuff that was going on in there. And when I got hold of the book, it explained, you know.
Yeah.
This is all a setup.
Yeah.
This has all been designed, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, as I moved on, I wanted to write a book to just pass on the wisdom and knowledge I had learned, and obviously it worked well on some people.
Yeah, man. I thank God for you for writing that book, man. And it definitely shifted my life, man.
Yeah, the other interesting thing is, you know, your dad gave you Monster, right? I actually knew Cody. I knew Monster Cody.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I got I got in my office. I have a drawer of letters from guys from prison, right? And
Okay.
I got a whole thing from Cody, from Monster, right?
Yeah.
And I actually would write him when he was in jail, and I met him, and he was one of those guys that taught me, just because you do time doesn't mean you change. And he even though he was brilliant, brilliant mind, that disease of violence, he was so infected, that even his revolutionary thought didn't do it. And so that I'm glad you got the second book. Because Cody's brilliant. He's a brilliant guy. But he never his demise shortly followed. So those are my initial thoughts. Sitting here just with you guys. It's beautiful, man.
Real good, man.
Yeah.
Wise one. I know I see you over there, man. Your head, you like.
I don't. Listen, when you said just because you do time doesn't mean you change.
Right.
And we know that change is a universal constant. So what do you call someone who becomes stagnant, so stagnant in their thinking, so deeply entrenched? When you don't change, it's almost because you refuse to change. We understand we're being presented with a set of circumstances that might not be fair. Okay, cool. We would never really promise fairness, though. But like you always say, Coach, the fact that I'm alive, I'm here, that means I won already.
Come on.
Like, I'm here. So do I have the authority to do more with that?
Come on.
To do something with myself? So I just look forward to, because I presented the book to my son. He devours this. You present these rules to live by to me, and what it immediately does, it gives me this framework through which I can have these conversations. I can frame things when I'm communicating with someone, and that's the way in which it helped. Okay, because we have these thoughts and they can seem scattered or racing at time. You know you're trying to do a good thing, but you kind of need something with which to work. And that's what it did for me. And just having a conversation with a member of my team before I come here, and she was speaking to me about how one thing is being said, you know what I mean, and being shown, but what's actually being done is something different. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, because the message might be good, but it's still breeding confusion.
Come on, man.
It's breeding confusion. And it ties into so many aspects of life. So I really I'm thankful to see what we take away from, but really I'm looking to see, I need for Minister to feed me, kind of set us on that track for today.
Man.
Well, going back to that classic timeless song, I had two thoughts. One, still relevant, as we said, but secondly, and I think related to it being relevant, I feel like the question he asked has still not been answered. And so to your point of Doc saying timeless, I think, if I'm not wrong, you may be slightly older than the rest of us in this room.
His dad and I are about the same.
Oh, okay.
Does that give you perspective?
I didn't want to
so
make
that's
no
like
assumptions,
Grand.
Doc.
I'm saying they got that same relation. Oh no, I just look good.
And so my thought is, you were probably around at the time when Marvin wrote that and was singing about that. And I guess my thought is, from your perspective, what you've seen, that we still have to be asking that question: what is going on?
Well, just so that everybody know, I'm a civil rights guy. I mean, that's my era, right? I grew up. I was in college. I'm a BSU president of my school, the first one, to start the Black Student Union, and that's what that book opened my mind. And consciousness is how I hate the word work. I don't know what work means, but you can't say somebody's. They can play with the word work, but you can't play with the word conscious.
Come on.
And that gave me consciousness. So when you grow up around, King and Malcolm and Black Panthers, and I'm in the Bay Area, so all this is happening right now. Eldridge Cleaver spoke at my school, right? Muhammad Ali I got Muhammad Ali to come to speak at my university when I was that was just the time. It was all about us. But there's always a pushback. And even Dr. King, when he wrote his book, Where Do We Go From Here? He said every 4 years is going to be a pushback because, we're going against a system that was written. We were written out of it. It was never intended for us, right? And we had to fight to get in. And people always say, I mean, don't get the wrong people in me because they say, well, you know, it's better today. I say, yeah, but y'all ain't give us nothing, right? We fought our way into this, but you know, so I understand the push and the pull, the push and the pull, the push and the pull. But I'm ready for the struggle. You got to be ready for the struggle.
Right.
Look, we came in. I told the kids, you came in. I showed the opening scene of Roots, right, and the baby's being born, and they were like, "Oh my, oh my God!" And I said, "Yeah." And I'm the oldest of 9, so my mama did that 9 times. Right. Right. So life is a struggle.
Yep.
Right. But there are things you can do to make it easier, and that's what I try to teach the young people. It's always going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle at 8, at 18, at 28, all the way 8s. But there are things you can do to make it easier, and that's the same way it is in this system that was not designed for us. It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
There are things you can do. Now, what you can't do, and I use a political phrase, you can't collude in your own oppression. Right? And I hope that makes sense to you. If something has a plan for you, you can't go along with the plan. Now, when you figure out the plan,
that's right,
then you just go against the plan. I've heard of many times people say they're building too many jails and not enough schools. Well, you can foil that plan. Just don't go to jail.
You know, Doc, I heard Harry Belafonte when he was talking about him and Dr. King.
Yeah.
And that Dr. King had called him one day and basically told him, I think I messed up. I've led our people into a burning house. Have you ever heard that?
I have. And, you know, Dr. King, all of us, this is a massive thing that has been, we just weren't counted in this, right? I mean, look, when you set up, you say all men are created equal, you set this up, this wonderful design. By the way, I always tell people, I think personally that was just a PR document to justify the war from England. But, you know, we're different than you.
Yeah.
And then you set up and say, well, I don't mean all people, right? You know, and then write it in. You know, and I've had great white friends tell me what compromises had to be made. Oh, not on you, on me, right? It's baked into the system. So, you know, Dr. King, Malcolm, we all are doing our best.
Yeah.
Elijah, Frederick, you name it, Marcus, to figure a way out of this mess and make it for us. Make it exactly what the founders that said that all men are created equal. And so I'm sure he had his moments. We were like, oh my God, this is worse than I thought.
Yeah.
You know, when the worst hatred the King saw wasn't in the South. It was when he went to Cicero, Illinois, when he went up north and saw things that he never saw in the South. So, but you know, he was an unbelievably remarkable man. You know, segregation in the South would not have ended with him. So I don't criticize any of them. I applaud all of their efforts.
Yeah.
Because we're going against something that, you know, there's a value system in the world. And I look at it like this, you know, and not just here, but in throughout history, you know, white is more valued than non-white. You know, men are more valued than women. That's the way the things work. So yeah, we're in a system that's tough for us, and I just applaud all of those who have taken on the challenge to make things the way they should be. Because we ain't the ones that said all men are created equal. They said that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to make them live up to what
they said.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
To just add or edit a little bit, because you sent that video out. What he said, he didn't say lead. He said, I feel like I've integrated our people into a burning house. And so what that says to me, why I'm making a difference is, as I understand it, that struggle back in the civil rights and all of that was, let us be a part of this. Let us join. Stop making us separate, right? And my feeling is what he was saying was, we trying so hard to be a part of something that's at its core not great. It's on fire, like you said. So, I mean, is that not the case when you talk about integration?
We're here in South Bend right now. If they said you couldn't come over to the other side of town, what would you do?
Probably.
That's right. You changed. You said that. No, that ain't right. Right.
Well,
right. Well, it had to happen. It had to happen. Right. Now, it's not so much an integrating into something. It's a matter of being able to go where you want to go. Right.
Yeah.
So I never looked at it as. I mean, they put these terms on it, But when they say you can't go here and you can't go there and you can't go this, and they, and you say, oh no, we can go wherever we want. Now, if we don't want to go there, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I never liked the term, quote, integration, because I think we were trying to get into anything.
Right.
Like there's a value over this not here. But to get rid of the mindset that says you're not good enough, there's something wrong with you. There was never anything wrong with us.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
But they made us and everybody else think that there's something wrong with us.
Okay.
And they get rid of that mindset, get rid of those laws. And if we want to go over to, and hang in this hotel, we can. If we don't, we'll just come back.
Yeah.
But there was a value system that they placed on it that is just completely not true. That messed up not only black folks, it messed up white folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they had this false sense of superiority, which to this day continues. That's the bad thing about saying we're better than you. And that's just us here. That's all over the world.
Right.
In my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And then it continued to escalate, right?
Yeah.
What I love about the song, because he goes into it, he says, war is not the answer.
No.
Right?
No.
It's not that. And it's so relevant today.
No.
This is not the answer.
War.
Right? Killing each other is not the answer.
What did Edwin Starr say years ago? War? What is it good for?
Yeah,
absolutely
nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
The trouble with war is a temporary. It's not even a fix. It's just it. How can I say it? You know my favorite phrase. War is an illusion because it creates an enemy that is going to surface further. Because everybody remembers that you killed my family, right? Everybody remembers you killed my family.
Yeah.
Part of the thing that's the problem in the Middle East is it goes on and on and on and on because they think war is the solution, right?
Yeah.
But it's not a solution. It's a temporary resolution.
Yeah.
But 5 years later, your cousin, your uncle, your great granddaddy, your great grandson gonna remember.
Yeah.
And so but early, and I learned this. It took me a long time to get this because this is not in the history book. If you look at traditional African societies, they were not about war. They were about living.
That's right.
So they said, look, this killing thing ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
We got to learn and let live. So that was their guiding principle. And if I discovered this in books where they actually had play wars. I didn't even notice. They had play wars. They would actually throw spears and miss each other on purpose because the last thing they wanted to do was to kill somebody because they're going to make an enemy.
That's right.
That's enlightenment. That's enlightenment. And it wasn't based on power, domination, or control. It was based on living.
Yeah.
All this war is really based on power.
Yeah.
It's just dominating somebody else. Colonialism and slavery was based on power. The Roman Empire was based on power.
Yeah.
That's the thinking. When you think differently about we just all trying to live here, right?
Yeah.
We all got families. We all got kids.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying to get at nobody. If we did, it's going to be some drama.
Yeah.
Those African societies were the equivalent of Mary J. Blige's record. No more drama.
No more drama.
Right?
That's right.
The problem with that is somebody came in and said, oh, there's something wrong with y'all. There's something wrong with y'all. Where's your kingdom? Where's your, this goal? They messed them up. It's sort of like me when I was a good kid and they told me I was a square or a punk for being good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I thought there was something wrong with me. And they turned me into me or something. They actually told me I was acting white for being smart. So,
Yes, sir.
I mean, you can get poisoned and infected in your goodness, right? Because it ain't cool. They made it not cool to be good for me, right? And they made it not cool to be who they were. They went and they changed everything.
Yeah.
And if you aren't strong in your resolve of who you are, so now Africa is just as bad as every place else. They got more, their wars are more vicious than the others. And I think that's because they're not naturally that way anyway.
Yeah.
Their spirit, when you mess with somebody's spirit, when you take a good person and turn him into something else, ooh, man, he gets perverted.
Yeah.
Again, you got me going now.
Yeah,
so
man, this is good, man.
So I want to jump in real quick then, because since you're going, because you have the the gift of having been alive from the time of Marvin and seeing the way that things have changed since then.
Yeah.
And what I always look at is education and maybe teachers, school, and how that is different. And I think about some of the teachers that meant the most to me.
Yeah.
In first grade, I had a teacher, Miss Waters, at Harrison Elementary. I came to school one day, I didn't have my eyeglasses. And she told me to turn around and walk back home to get my glasses. And I'm like, that's like mean, I'm thinking. And I walked to get my glass, and I come back, and she sit me down, and she put a book in front of me, and she say, and don't forget them again. And for somebody to take time to pour into me like that, it's not that I don't see that happening anymore, but can you speak about the shift that you've seen in like community education just over these generations?
First of all, that's love. That's pure love.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's pure love. And I always say about teaching in particular, it's not a job. It's not a profession. It's a calling. It's a calling. And if you don't, if the best teachers are the ones don't do it for the money, because ain't no money anyway, right? Right. You got to do it for your love of the students. And yeah, you see this. I mean, at one time, the most valued people in our community were the teachers. You know, the teachers, right? The servants, the people who served people. You know, money can get in the way of that. Money can become the false god, right? And the people get lost. And so, yeah, but sure, there are still those loyal and faithful people who want to serve. They just need to be, what I want us to support it and lift it up. We don't do enough of lifting up of those folks, right? We don't do a lifting up of the good. And now the social media is here bad, it's just in. You know, I mean, you're going to have a harder time now than ever because bad news travels 6 times faster than good news. I mean, it makes more money. And it's all about the money. That's what I really want to say. Money dominated. For those folks, money was not the most important thing.
Right.
The people and community and service was the most important thing. And so, but if you get grounded in that, that's why these messages are so important. That's why the show is so important. Because people really know that. You're just not going to hear it no place else but here.
That's right. Yeah, they know it at the core.
They know it in their core.
Yeah.
They know it.
Yeah.
They know it's hollow out there.
Yeah.
They know it's fake out there. They know it. It's just that that thing needs to be nurtured. This is why, you know, our church is so important. That's why stuff is so important.
Yes.
And genuineness and integrity is so important.
Yeah.
And there's not enough of us doing that and supporting it and saying, no, that's not real. And to be honest with you, it doesn't always happen in the church. We know that, right?
Yeah.
The worst you can get is a fake hypocrite. Oh my Lord, there's so many hypocrites out there.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, that then destroys everything.
Yeah.
So good people are the most important. I went a little far from the teacher thing, but when you destroy the spirit, that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because when it turns the other way, when it gets the other way, it will destroy.
That's right.
And that's all the way from the Bible, scripture, to the ancestors.
Yeah.
You know, that's. Boy, y'all got me in places I
don't
But all this is in the pot that and the reading and the study that brought me to the point with saving, because it's all about saving lives.
Yeah.
It's not much different than saving souls and saving lives.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about, and that's what led me to, you said in the beginning, my young people dying, my young people going to funerals. I said, no, we got to do something. It ain't right. It ain't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So
that's real good. That's real good. Brother Minister, I know you're like, man, I was supposed to be asking these questions.
My bad.
That is not what I'm like.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
I'm enjoying the flow.
Yeah.
But if I could take us back a little bit, Doc, to what you said about war, and it not making sense, and not a resolution.
No, it's not.
And you talked about in the Middle East, they ain't figured that out, and we got in Africa. All of that reminded me of the fact, though, that here in Merca, we do like war. Now, don't nobody want to admit that.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact is, the Israelis could not be doing what they're doing right now if Merca wasn't providing all the weapons. Ukraine and Russia couldn't be having the fight they having if we were. When you talk about Africa, we tend to go over and stir up the things that ignite those fights. And I'm saying all this to a smaller point. That's a very broad point.
Yeah.
But it's, as I was reading some of your materials, you talked about that there is a portion of society who benefits from destruction, etc., that they have set up these systems with the intent of having us clashing and fighting because money can't, the prison industrial complex, etc., etc. So,
Yeah.
like, I agree with that reality. I get the sense that your stance on all of that, because again, that's really broad, and that's something none of us sitting in this room probably can really affect. When you sort out there, that you recognize that individuals have to be pulled out of that you're not. What are we going to do about the prison industrial complex? What are we going to do about the war complex? The fact that we have all these war companies here who profit off of making bombs. What are we going to do about that?
Well, yeah. And whenever I start, just basic, I started out talking to young people. You know, I give them the analogy, first of all, birth. And, you know, and my job is, life is going to be a struggle, but my job is to tell you what to do to make the struggle easy, right? That's my first thing. And then I just talk about violence, period. And I said, why is there so much violence? And I said, the first thing, here's what I'm up against when it comes to violence. Number one is people say that violence is in man's nature, okay? It's natural. Well, I ain't gonna get this in. I better go quick. It's in man's nature, right? And so a lot of people believe that man is naturally violent. That's one thing. The second is there's a history of violence in the world, right? So I'm up against history. They don't know anything about these African societies I'm talking about, so they think, well, violence is the way to go. Third is people believe that violence is the way to solve their problems, right? Yeah. Every kid in here, I know my mama told me, first day I got to school, if he hit you, and he didn't say call home, and he didn't say tell the teacher. So I'm being taught by well-intentioned people now, my mother, that, you know, if he hit you, hit him back, solve it with violence. But the biggest thing is that violence makes money for people. Violence is profitable, okay? Violence is profitable. And the hard thing is when you put material values over people, which is one of the risk factors, you're always going to have a problem. See, you know, so when money is your dominant, and I will say God in this sense, you're going to have a problem, right? And so we're up against all of that. And my biggest thing is I'm into alive and free, right? Which is keeping people unharmed by violence and free from incarceration. But the world isn't into alive and free. That's my biggest challenge. I'm going against the world. So I don't try to attack systems. I go with individuals because an individual can be an instrument of good or an instrument of pain. So I'm not looking to attack, you know, I'm not going to system. But now I know that people make up systems, right? So if I get somebody in there who thinks differently, so, you know, you can either be an instrument of good or you can be an instrument of destruction. And so for me, it's easier because if I look at the whole prison, I can't do that. But I can convince you, brother, you ain't got to be like that. You don't have to be representative of that. You don't have to contribute to that. And so I know I'm saving somebody's life every time I have a conversation with people. Every school shooter was an individual, right? So if I get him or her, it's mostly white boys, by the way, it ain't us, and it ain't even women, right? Then somebody lives. So that makes it easier for me to go around and just, because I know if I get to you, somebody gonna live.
Is that what Daddy said to me? He said, man, I'm not trying to save you from the world. I'm trying to save the world from you. And that's what I pour into.
See, that's the brothers who are the same age. Got to understand
it. Oh man, this has been good. The time went so fast, you know.
Why you do this to me, man? You mean that time is up? Come on now. It was a blessing, though. I get it.
Well, listen, Doc, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate the work that you're doing. You always got a open welcome to be part of this show, to be part of our city.
I tell you what, man, I got a brother in Cape Town doing the same thing. Let's go over there. I'm with it. Because everybody wants to stay alive and free.
Come on. That's right. And that's what we all about here, man. Just about being alive and free. I like to always talk about why we started this. Why I believe you started this. It begins with that L word, man. It's because of love, man.
Nothing but love. Take 6, one of my favorite songs. I love that song. If you want an explanation of me in my service, just play that song.
Take
Nothing
6,
but love. Yes,
nothing
sir.
but love.
Nothing but love.
We gotta get DJ Shane on that nothing but love. But I want to tell you, brother, I love you.
Love you, brother. Oh boy, that was great. That was wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Maurice Scott, consortium member in South Bend, for having me on the show. And I can't say enough, Lady E, you know, that it's just marvelous to go back someplace nowhere near here and to be with folks who are committed to the same thing, keeping people alive and free. And I didn't know he had a show, but it was pretty cool. And for me to be the guest and talk about you know, the thing that still gets me when he says that book saved his life. And I remember meeting him. I remember the first time he walked in, we came to San Francisco, we're doing a training, and he held up the book and said, "Man, you gotta sign this book, saved my life." I just could not believe it. And so, Maurice, love you. Love everybody back there. Got some things to do. I got some notes that they told me when I get back here to connect with them on. I'm gonna have some of the kids that I met there, and we're gonna have them on the show to talk about my visit and my conversation with them. So yeah, it was great, especially after that election. Getting to do the stuff that I love to do, keeping young people alive and free. Lady E, how did I do? How did I do? You know, I gotta find out from you.
Let me hit the unmute button. You did just as you always do. Just as you always do, Dr. Marshall. Yeah. So it was, you did a good job. They did a good job. It's interesting. Alive and Free in what, South Bend?
South Bend, Indiana.
South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah, they got drama there.
Well, just keep on living. Drama has a way of showing up, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were there for what, 3 days, 2 days?
Yes, I was there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We did the show on Thursday, had the young people Thursday night and the adults on Saturday. They did the show on Friday. And yeah, great. They took care of me. You know how it is. It's funny when you go there, people, they really take care of you. I remember when you went to Cape Town, how they took care of you. Boy, they took care of Lady Estelle.
And that was an amazing trip. That was an amazing trip.
And
Yeah.
you know, when I realized it, and let me just say this to everybody who's watching this, I really needed that, you know, to get right back into the work after that election. Somebody texted me and said, "I applaud you, you know, for just getting right back into it. But hey, we ain't got time to lay down, right? We got to get back up, and get back in it, and make it happen, because that's the history. That's the history. That's what we do." So, lady, I'm gonna let you wrap it up. I don't know if you have anything to wrap up, but yeah. But you got some sage.
Well, I don't know about sage.
Remember the last time somebody was on last week, and somebody said that Maya Angelou lady who was on I said, Maya Angelou ain't got nothing on Lady E, okay? that was from the comment from somebody who was on last week.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, you know, a lot's been said. I think that just to say a few things, it was really good and refreshing to hear from South Bend at the end rather than at the beginning, because the beginning was a tough start. But to hear that not only in the Bay Area, that message to stay alive and free, and organizations and people that are working to help young people, all people, do what they can to stay alive and free, to find out what the prescription is, and that people are doing it. That is refreshing and that is encouraging. And I think that we will certainly, and I loved when he said at the end, the reason for all of this. And he said the L word, which, you know, with the emails that went out nationwide to different people, you know, which wasn't about love, with the plans that we don't know what we'll see in the next few days. We don't know if it's going to be about love. What we know is what we saw and what we heard up till now. So we can't do enough to get that L word out, what that looks like, what that means, and the challenges that we face when we choose to take a higher stand, when we make the choice to do what's good and right, when we are surrounded by those who are taking a different position. And so, yeah, that's going to be a challenge for us. And I think that that's a stand that we need to hold on to, no matter what happens, no matter what is said or done. You know, don't keep moving forward in the direction that you know is best for all people, whether they realize it or not. And so my few little words in reflecting where we were last week and where we are today, it has been a few days, and the world has seen what's going on with this country. The one who won will reflect and show the values and beliefs of this nation's soul. Integrity, honesty, unity, and hope being replaced with hate, lies, the implementation of Project 2025. Yes, it's been a few days, and the world has seen just who this country has proven itself to be. And what we need to do and remember is to be the light so that people can see, to make better choices. Go with the love, and above all, stay alive and free. This is Lady Estelle, asking you to hold on to this.
Thank you, Lady E. See everybody next week right here, Alive and Free, Free Soldiers.